So, got my water filters. I'm gonna fill the water today. And as you know, I bring the water filters inside so they don't freeze. Then I gotta hook them up before I fill the water. It's 36 degrees out now, so I don't have to worry about, something goes wrong, something freezing up, which is a concern, especially when it's really cold, 4 degrees or 10 degrees. The hose and stuff, the filters, they'll freeze within a few minutes. So you walk down, you turn on the inverter, and by the time you get up, everything's froze up. So now I disconnect the hoses when I put it all away, and I drag them down the hill here to get all the water out of them. Now, I'm sure somebody's gonna say, "Oh, it's gross. What did you do that for?" I'm from an 80s kid. We used to drink out of hoses. So now what I do is I blow through it to make sure that it's not froze. Make sure there's no water frozen in it. If it is, I'll just take it in the house for 10 minutes and let it thaw out. I will say that these thinner hoses, the other one's pretty thick. This thinner hose that you get at Walmart is a lot better than the quality hoses you buy at the hardware store or the RV place. The thinner hoses just work better in the winter because they're more flexible. I had a leak, so I bought myself a adapter here. It worked out pretty good. And the nice thing about this adapter is I can make a hose out of it. I thought that was great. Got that at the hardware store. It's a lot cheaper than buying a hose. Now I got to get it back together. This will be handy if the water pipes in the IBC tank freeze up. I can hook the filter up to this, and I can fill buckets of water without having to hook up that bigger hose. This bigger hose is a pain. It freezes more because it's just not as flexible. It's thicker, so it's just a pain everywhere. Blow through it, and then we'll pull it back up. Even putting it into the filters is harder. Whip it around. Worked pretty good today. So now I'm going to go down and turn on the inverter. Since it's a sunny day, we'll be able to do this with the solar panels. I think I've done it twice now with the generator, filling the tank, because it's been so cloudy here recently. I know that thicker hose is better quality and it's not going to break as easy, but I don't like it for as much as I have to connect and disconnect it and line it up and drag it down the hill. The cheaper one, the thinner one, works so much better. So now I'm walking down to the inverter and we'll get that turned on. I'll tell you what we got going on. Of course, you can see the solar panels are fully covered in sunlight now, because we have to wait for it to get, well, there's also some clouds in the sky, so that could be an issue for us. The sun is behind some clouds. And with the problem is the sun is still kind of down behind the trees, so we get some shading from the trees, and so we'll lose 10-15 amps trying to get the you know, from the clouds and the trees. Okay, so here's our house inverter. It's 1,000 watts, and here's our 2,000 watt inverter. I'm gonna check these, see how we're doing. So the batteries are for 13.7 volts, so they're not fully charged yet. We're getting 19 amps. Oh, that's not terrible. Usually we get about 24. So that's 18.4. We'll come over to the other one. Again, we got 13.7 volts at 18 amps. So they're both producing the same amount of amps. So there's 6 panels on this charge controller, 6 panels on this charge controller. So we'll turn on the inverter. So you see the inverter came on, and now we can go back up there and turn the water on. So I have a switch up there that turns the water on. Now I got to be careful because we're kind of in a drought, or have been in a drought. I think it's starting to, we're recovering because we've gotten a lot of rain in the last few weeks. Not a lot of rain, just a consistent amount of rain. You know, maybe an inch a day or something, I don't know. So we might be recovering, but the well is getting low, and if I drop the pump too much, then I start picking up sediment. It's a shallower well. Okay, so now we're gonna turn on the well. Got a switch. Now I don't have the hose hooked up. That was pretty stupid. So what I'm gonna do, since I messed up, I'm gonna let this shoot out, and then I'm gonna shut it off. If I don't, I can get the well dirty. I don't know why, but if I turn it on and turn it off too much, the well will start to collect, you know, the sediment would start to build up. So I just forgot to hook the two-way valve up. I guess I got distracted by making a video. So I keep the valve in here also because it'll freeze up. So this is the two-way valve I was talking about. And the reason I do this is this way I can let that pipe fill up. See, I have a hole drilled into the pipe just above the water line in the well. That way the water can roll back and that pipe is always empty and it'll never freeze. See if I can do this one-handed. Not too bad. Okay, so now we're going to turn on the water. You'll hear the water come back up the pipe. It is completely emptied by now. Now we can shift it over to the hose. Now all the air is out of the black pipe here. Come back over, we'll check the water, see how it's flowing. You know, I mean, with it not being freezing temperatures, it's not a big deal that we go check. But when it does freeze, you know, you want to come over and check because you don't want to run that well pump without it having water flowing through it for too long, or it can, see that stiff hose? It's always a pain. So we're about a quarter empty, just a little over a quarter empty. So not too bad, but I want to keep it full as much as possible, keep filling it up whenever I can, so when we get down to those 0 temperatures, those single-digit temperatures, that the well doesn't, or the IBC tank box doesn't freeze. Somebody's gonna say, this is what you got to bury that tank. The tank has never froze. It's the plumbing that freezes. What we do is we have a ventilation on top of the shower, and the hose goes into the ventilation. So the pipe, the plumbing, goes into the ventilation. And then we run a fan that blows that hot air into the ventilation, into the IBC tank. So it keeps the plumbing warm and keeps the tank warm and everything warm. But when it gets too cold, about -4 actually, is when things start to freeze up. So it's not a big deal. I know everybody thinks this is just a terrible thing, and everybody has a solution to the problem, but it's just not a problem. And I don't know how to convince people of that. I bring it up every year, and every year somebody wants to tell me how to solve the problem. It's not a problem. Remember, the well can't freeze. There's no water in it. It drains down every time I shut it off. So the pipe's empty. I just go over there, I get some water, and I can fill up some buckets. It's no big deal. Or heck, I can fill up a coffee pot. I can do whatever I need to do. It's not quite as convenient as the tank. I can even take a hose, this hose, run it to our on-demand water heater, and take a shower. I just turn the well on, turn the water heater on, and take a shower. It's just not a big deal. I just run the hose through the window here. It's usually better, the wood stove's running when we do that, so it doesn't get too cold in the house. So we talk about having backups and all that stuff. Well, I guess you can just call this my backup. I don't need to go spending a bunch of money burying tanks. And the problem with burying a tank is, when I have to do maintenance on that, that means I have to unbury the tank. And I do maintenance on this quite a bit. I got to clean that pump and make sure the ventilation's still working, any animals get in there, just all kinds of things. So it would have to, if I buried it, it would have to be kind of like in a root cellar type of thing, under the ground with the door and the whole thing. It would just be a lot of money. I mean, it's like when people tell me I got to put this thing on a tower so I don't need a pump. So I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars on a tower, and I've talked about this before. Watched a video, the tower fell over on a guy during a windstorm. So hundreds of dollars on a tower, maybe even thousands of dollars, or a $13 pump that I have to replace every now and then. I don't understand what the big deal is. Everybody has a better solution, but there is no better solution. This is the best solution. Now, I know people in the comment section, well, that's the best solution for you, but I would do it this way. Okay, you can do it that way. And I just don't understand why I would want to spend a bunch of money when I've seen videos of things fail, yet I've never seen this fail. Every RV in the country has an RV pump in a tank. And the worst thing happens is the pump goes bad, or the pipes freeze, or, those kind of things. General things that happen in a regular house. So why would I want to go build a tower? I mean, and that's going to attract attention from the local governments. The county government, I'm going to have to get permits and engineers. And I mean, I'm sure they're not going to let me build I think it's a 69-foot tower is what I have to build to get enough pressure to run the water heater. They're not going to let me do it. I'm going to have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get contractors to come out here to build a tower out of metal or something to hold nearly, what, a ton of water? I think it's a ton of water. Plus, I would have to redo my pump. I'd have to have a bigger pump because I got to pump it up 68 more feet in the air. This pump won't do it, which means now I got to have a deeper well because the well's not deep enough to hold a bigger pump. So it's just more money, more money, more money. Everybody's got this brilliant idea. When I always say this, keep it simple, silly. Why am I spending so much money and working so hard at something when an IBC tank, some hoses, which act as my plumbing, and an RV pump have worked fine, except at -4 degrees? And the thing is if I put it up 69 feet in the air, how am I going to heat that? It would freeze at 32 degrees. So if you click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was working on something. So if I can inspire you to kiss it so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.